You know, I have to say that Pat just called us clusterettes, and I love it. I never was called a clusterette before. It sounds like Josie and the Pussycats, Paco and the Clusterettes. Don't mind me, it's Saturday. I'm a little manic just because I'm happy that this week is over. Ay, and we continue to recover from the recent natural phenomena. And of course, we still have one more to go, as just as I speak, a major ring of fire eclipse is taking over our skies. I will not be stepping out to take a look at it, or maybe I'll take a peek after the broadcast is over. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. It's always a pleasure to see you here, particularly those of you that watch live for the first time. I want to give you a chance to let us know that you are new. If you write the word new in your comment, you're watching live for the first time. We'd love to give you a nice little welcome. And as long as we're at it, I have to own to my own carelessness and issue an apology to those of you that watch on YouTube or later on in the day. Yesterday, I got caught up in the excitement of having lunch with some friends, and I forgot to hit the publish button. So there were no show notes and there was no YouTube broadcast. Even a couple of you reached out to me to make sure that I was okay, and I was really touched by that. But I just, whoops, I screwed up and I didn't publish it. Then I came home last night after going out with some friends to find that I had no power. So unfortunately, it wasn't until this morning that I realized that I had failed to publish our show notes and the YouTube video. But it's okay, or at least I hope it's okay. Today we have more recovery news, and hopefully this will be the beginning of the end of recovery news so that we can move on to other things. And we also have some events that I want to run by you just to make sure that we're all on the same page. So as always, if you are new, just write the word new in your comment. If you have something really important to say, like Sherry did here, she added a capital letter Q. Sherry says, "We are proud to be Paco and the Clusterettes." Oh dear, I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's get started. We might as well. Let me set this up properly, and here we go. We start with good news for folks living in the South Shore. Yesterday afternoon, one lane along Highway 200 was reopened for small vehicles and motorcycles to get through in Mismaloya. There's still a lot of work to do due to the size of the boulders and the undeniable reality that more rain this season could continue to weaken the mountainside. And to get a better appreciation of the challenge, Tribuna de la Bahia has published a drone shot from the landslide spot or directly above it. While this is considerable damage, it certainly does not account to the enormous amount of rocks that we're seeing going by on the video that we shared yesterday. So, as Michael before mentioned, it's likely to be a video from somewhere else. Still, it is clear to see how workers will have to continue to go at the highway for a few days before the two lanes can be opened back to vehicular traffic. As far as water service goes, Seapal continues to work at restoring water service throughout the city. As of yesterday, there were still 11 Seapal facilities in the municipality waiting to be brought back to normal. Once this happens, service will be restored to the highest areas in Ramblaces, El Pitillal, and El Cerro, along with many hotels in the South Shore that are still without water. And according to Tribuna de la Bahía, electricity has now been restored in 85% of the region after 3 days without it in many colonias in the city. Now, it is worth mentioning, and this is just up for food for thought. I don't have any specific answers here, but it is worth mentioning that now that the worst of these two catastrophes seems to be behind us, a number of columnists and writers are beginning to raise the question as to whether we were properly prepared as a destination for these events or not. There are those that argue that Puerto Vallarta, being a world-class tourism destination, should have been better prepared. The CFE, the electrical company, and Seapal should have been able to handle this more quickly. I mean, to think about the fact that there are people in this tourist destination that have gone through days without electricity can seem really inconceivable. But the flip side of that is that, I mean, these things happen and one can never really know when something this catastrophic is going to happen again. The bottom line is, I certainly hope that this has served as a good eye-opener for local authorities to analyze whether they were ready for something like this or whether improvements can be made. And for all of us, it is important to remember that these things can happen. I do feel strongly for folks that were here on vacation during this past week. I'm sure it was not the ideal vacation for some, but hopefully folks out there will not think about that in terms of making future decisions to come back to our destination. And for those of us that live here, it's always a challenge, but it's never boring, that's for sure. Let's take a quick look at the weather. Snarky Weatherman says that cloud looks like an atom bomb. Okay, I don't want any funky clouds. I don't want any water. I don't want anything. I just want happy days. It feels like 32 degrees right now, but it is 28 degrees. Humidity is at 73%, and our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 83. Our weather forecast for today, Saturday, says it's going to be humid with partly cloudy skies throughout the day. Chance of rain of only 18%, yay. A high of 32 and a low of 24. Tomorrow, Sunday, we can expect mostly cloudy skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon. A chance of rain of 49%, a high of 32 and a low of 24. And then Monday, mostly cloudy skies in the morning with rain in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 44%, a high of 31 and a low of 24. Yay. Now, today, of course, is Saturday, and today we take a second to acknowledge those of you that have become subscribers to Coffee and Headlines. As you know, we rely on your continued support to make things happen around here. And this Saturday, we want to acknowledge Brian and Sharon Collins, who are new clusterites. And then we also want to acknowledge Douglas and someone named someone. No, seriously, somebody did not add their name, but that's okay. This is not Douglas someone. This is Douglas and somebody else that came in as Cluster Angel members. Thank you so very much. And of course, we also take a second to acknowledge Apache's Martini Bar, a fun al fresco bar in Emiliano Zapata on Olas Altas, featuring daily happy hour from 4 to 7 p.m. We also acknowledge Best Cord Cutting TV, a locally based television service provider offering hundreds of national and international TV channels. We acknowledge Hotel Mercurio, Puerto Vallarta's favorite hotel for the LGBT plus community, featuring their legendary beers, boys, and burgers every Sunday. Bistro Mercurio, who is part of Hotel Mercurio, it's their own independently branded poolside restaurant with thoughtful versions of American and Mexicans' favorites. And last but not least, we acknowledge the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work, a beautifully appointed hotel located next to the Rio Quale that also offers state-of-the-art co-working space and a variety of ongoing courses, classes, and workshops, including my very own music appreciation presentations. I certainly hope that the Joint has been able to figure out their air conditioning woes so that we can continue with our music presentations as scheduled, and I will give you a reminder of what's coming in a second. But first, something else that's coming up in the near future is El Buen Fin, which is Mexico's answer to the United States Black Friday. This is a nationwide initiative to encourage people to spend money by encouraging businesses to offer great promotions. It is returning from November 17 to November 20. And even though translated it means the good end, El Buen Fin is actually a short way to say El Buen Fin de Semana, which actually means the good weekend. So there is an official website that I'm going to share in the show notes, and this website also has a directory of the businesses that are participating, but all you have to do really is look for the sticker that I just showed you on screen. And of course, the directory is not installed yet. And I want to take 2 seconds to talk a little bit about the Amazon experience. As you know, here in Mexico, well, I'm going to speak for myself. Here in Puerto Vallarta, I sometimes order from Amazon Mexico. Sometimes I order from Amazon.com just because I think it is a good idea to compare prices. There are some of you that are from Canada, and honestly, I don't know if being here in Puerto Vallarta, you order from Amazon Canada or not. But at least for me, it's comforting to know that I can order from Amazon Mexico or Amazon the United States. I can compare my prices. There are a handful of items that, even though they're available on Amazon.com in the United States, you cannot order them from them. You have to order them from Amazon Mexico. Such is the case of the Amazon Kindle. My Kindle reader is starting to show its age. I've had it for like 12 years now. And I know that Amazon just had a Prime couple of days earlier this week. And I saw that there were some special sales on the new Kindles, but unfortunately I had to order them through Amazon Mexico, and Amazon Mexico did not honor Amazon Prime. Why not? Because Amazon Mexico honors El Buen Fin. So that's the reason why I'm giving you this whole Amazon detour. If you shop for things on Amazon Mexico and you didn't see anything on Prime, well, there was nothing to be had. But do expect that Amazon Mexico will feature special sales related to El Buen Fin on the dates that I just mentioned, which is from November 17 to the 20th. Before we go into our chit chat section, a few events that I'm keeping track of. Of course, the big thing that we can look forward to in the near future is Day of the Dead. And as I mentioned earlier, there are a bunch of celebrations that are being announced, including my very own presentation, Day of the Dead, which will happen on Wednesday, November 1st. It'll be a nice combination of music and tradition. And because I'll be in Guadalajara before that event, I will go shopping at the special Day of the Dead Expo in Guadalajara to find trinkets to show and tell. But even before we get there, of course, we are reprising at your request the Tony Bennett presentation that I did right after his passing. This is going to take place on October 24th in 10 days. We got great commentary on this presentation, so if you missed it, this will be a great chance to check it out. As always, this is at 5 o'clock at the Joint Hotel, but this is going to be on a Tuesday, not on our usual Thursdays. Then Susan Amani, our great friend, is doing an introduction to tarot cards on the 25th. Then we're back on our regular Thursdays on Thursday, October 26th at the Joint with our little introduction to disco music and its evolution and cultural impact. Then on the 28th, just a couple of days after that, our friends Lucy and Joshua from Hecho a Mano are going to have their Mezzonali Festival, their musical festival. I noticed that they're looking for early people to go in and get tickets. So hopefully you are interested. You are getting your tickets ahead of time so that they can get their ball rolling financially. And then there's that Asian air fryer class by Sharon, which I'm sure is already sold out, but I figured I'd mention it just in case. And of course, right after we have this fabulous get together for Day of the Dead, we can all saunter to the party that is being offered at the Isla Rio Cuale and see what's going on there. This is the Isla de los Muertos Festival, the second time they offer this. So I am really excited to see what this is going to be about. And there's more that I haven't mentioned. We have our music presentations for November, and I haven't set them up. Perhaps one of the November presentations could be our country music presentation, which unfortunately we had to cancel due to the effects of the hurricane at the hotel. And this, of course, brings us now to our chit chat section. I'm eager to see what everyone is up to. What are you up to this weekend and so forth? Oh my goodness, Karen is one more sleep away from being back in Puerto Vallarta. Thank goodness you missed all the craziness from this past week. And what else do we have? Let's see. I love clusterettes. That is so funny. Boom, 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 boom. I'm sorry to hear that Betsy is still reporting power problems as well as trees. Hopefully, it's a matter of hours. I keep my fingers crossed for anyone who is still having water or electricity shortages. Purim pum pum pim. Do 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 do. I am looking at. John is having an eclipse currently. Be careful out there when you're watching at things going on. Don't watch at the sun with your bare eyes, and don't point your camera at the sun. You could damage your camera sensor. Let's see. Dun, dun, dun. There's a cue. The shutting down of the house commences, says Den. Well, it's so interesting you should say that, Den, because the opening of your place here in Puerto Vallarta has commenced as well. I've seen your landlady cleaning the place. Den says, since it's going to sit empty for many months while we are in our home in Puerto Vallarta, we want to make sure everything here is taken care of. Well, that makes two of us. I hope you take care of everything and that your return to Puerto Vallarta is a good one, a safe one. That's for sure. Michael asks, is everyone's cable still down? I don't have cable, so I cannot answer that, but I hope if your cable is down, that it will be restored sometime soon. Let's see. Pum 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 pum. There's a cue. Lona says, when water service is interrupted, does extra bottled water get delivered to the markets in those areas? That's a great question. Honestly, I don't think there is much communication between Seapal and the supermarkets. I just don't think they think that way. Lona, I think they have enough in their hands to simply try to put all their man hours and their efforts to restore the service, to be making phone calls to supermarkets so that they can supply water. So if you are not finding enough water where you are, maybe it's a matter of going a little further. But that was a great question. Let's see. I appreciate this remark, Patty. I absolutely don't feel sorry for tourism industry. There are countries, the countless of small communities that are waiting for any kind of assistance. I agree with you. I agree it's difficult to, measure. I think we all have personal places where we have aimed our personal empathy and our personal attention. I agree with you. There are many communities that need help, but ultimately, at the end of the day, we all need to make ends meet. And I just wish that everybody can go back to normal as soon as possible. Let's see what else we have. Ba-da-dee, pam, boom, pam, pam. I'm looking for cues. I am looking for cues, and I don't see any more cues. So this means that we are at the end of our broadcast, and if I may say so, at the beginning of my weekend. What am I doing? I'm going to Pitillal to eat tacos with good friends, just because it's there and I'm hungry. I hope you have excellent plans for this weekend. I hope you'll have a really, really good one. And I hope that wherever you are, if you're still waiting for things to be restored, just breathe deeply. I actually had no power last night, so I had what I like to call a Kindle and candle evening, reading books in the dark. But hopefully, again, this whole thing will be back to normal. Hang in there, and hopefully I'll see you again on Monday. Take care.